Hello students, Cav here. Our next banned book is To Kill a Mockingbird by Harper Lee. It was challenged in Minnesota and temporarily banned because it used the word damn and whore lady. It was challenged in New York as a filthy, trashy novel. It was challenged in Warren, Indiana township schools in the 80s because the book does, quote, psychological damage to the positive integration process and, quote, represents institutionalized racism under the guise of good literature. After unsuccessfully trying to ban the novel, 3 black parents resigned from the Township Human Relations Advisory Council. It was challenged in Illinois because of the use of the N-word. It was challenged in Kansas City, Missouri, junior high schools because it contains profanity and racial slurs. It was retained on a supplemental list in Arizona despite protests by black parents and the NAACP, the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People, who charged the book was unfit for junior high use. It was challenged in Santa Cruz because of racial themes and removed from a school in Louisiana because the language and content were objectionable. To Kill a Mockingbird is definitely one of the longest lists of challenges that we have. Challenged in Moss Point because it contains a racial epithet. Banned from Texas, advanced place reading lists in Lindale because it conflicted with the values of the community. Challenged by a county in Georgia because of profanity. The novel was returned to the freshman reading list. It was also returned to the freshman reading list in Oklahoma at a high school, despite complaints from black students and parents about racial slurs in the text. It was challenged in the Normal, Illinois Community High School sophomore literature class as being degrading towards African Americans. Challenged at Stanford Middle School in North Carolina because the 1961 Pulitzer Prize-winning novel uses the N-word. I read that entire one. Challenged at Brentwood, Tennessee because it contains profanity and adult themes because there is a character who is assaulted. It also was complained. They also said that the book's use of racial slurs promotes racial hatred, racial division, racial separation, and promotes white supremacy. It was retained in the English curriculum in New Jersey, despite the fact that a resident objected to the novel's depiction of how blacks are treated by members of a racist white community in an Alabama town during the Depression because they feared it would upset black children reading it. And it was also removed from a secondary school classroom in Ontario, Canada, because a parent objected to the language, including the N-word. So, To Kill a Mockingbird is a story of a little girl who is witnessing a trial in her very white town. It's a very segregated town. It's during the Depression in the South. And then a black man is accused of committing a crime against a white lady. Did he do it? As we go through the book, we find out that he did not. But her father is the only person who is willing to defend him because of the color of his skin. And it examines the racism in the small town during that time period. So, yeah, it's another one of those books that's supposed to make you uncomfortable, although it has come up as being challenged more often lately. Huck Finn and To Kill a Mockingbird both kind of ebb and flow. Sometimes they're super challenged and sometimes they're not. It all kind of depends on where you're at and what's happening at that time. So that's To Kill a Mockingbird. Thank you so much and have a wonderful day. Cav out.